told that on 7th August 2024, this House considered and passed the bill with amendments, following which I refer the bill to the Senate for consideration in accordance with the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution. The Senate has now referred the bill back to the National Assembly for reconsideration. Honourable members, with respect to the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2024, I direct the clerk to circulate the Senate amendments to the bill to all members. Thereafter, the amendments will stand referred to the Budget and Appropriations Committee. I urge the committee to expedite consideration of the Senate's amendments and report back to the House on Tuesday, 15th October 2024. Conscious of the House, that the House is scheduled to proceed on a short recess next week, I direct that the matter be prioritized for consideration on the same day. As in to remind members that conclusion of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2024 will pave way for reconsideration of the Count Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024, which was referred back to the Senate under Article 115 of the Constitution by His Excellency the President following rejection of the Finance Bill 2024. This will facilitate disbursement of the requisite funds to account governments and avoid further stalling of operations of the devolved units. The House is accordingly guided. I thank you. Next.
Order number 8, special motion, proposed removal by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
Honourable members, we are back to the motion. So far, so good with the morning sitting. As I directed in the morning, honourable members, we will proceed up to 5. The Deputy President indicated he will be here by 4. At 5, we'll call him and allocate him up to 2 hours maximum. When he finishes, the majority leaders will come in, and thereafter the mover will be called to reply. We have 5 minutes each, and the interest is overwhelming. If we remain with the 5 minutes, you know, not each one of you will have time to speak. The alternative to this, and I don't want us to go that direction, is that after the Deputy President has had his opportunity, this motion has no time cap, but we must finish not later than midnight today. So I want to hear your views. We continue with 5 minutes. And after the Deputy President speaks, I've got the minority, majority, and reply, and you go to the vote. Is that all right? Yes. Excellent. At the time we concluded, it was Honorable Kajwang from my left who had spoken. I'll now open the afternoon with the member for Ugenya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Article 132 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that the President will every year give a report to this House on the steps taken to implement Article 10 Mr. Speaker, Article 10 is the soul of the nation. Article 10 is what the engineers would call the software of the country. It is what the doctor would call the heartbeat of this country. Oh dear. Mr. Speaker, through Article 10, this country gave to itself how they want to be governed. Mr. Speaker, Article 10 of the Constitution provides for us the map to where we want to go. Mr. Speaker, in the last 1.5 years, we've listened to and been treated to, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy President piercing with a sharp knife through the very heart of the nation, Mr. Speaker. When we went to give ourselves a new constitution, Mr. Speaker, we said tribalism, nepotism, corruption, Mr. Speaker, are our ills. And we said that we will entrench Article 10 and ensure that going forward, we live as a country together, united, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for the last 2 years, the Honorable Gachagua has not only put a knife onto the back of our values and shared principles, but he's kept turning that knife, Mr. Speaker, to the level where if we allow him to continue being Deputy President, Mr. Speaker, we are going to risk the loss of the heart of this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the move of this motion, the Honorable Mutuse, read what appears in Article 10, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing to say about a person who believes that this country should only belong to one region, Mr. Speaker. It has to be clear today that we are not impeaching Mount Kenya. We are not impeaching the Kikuyu. We are impeaching an individual who has refused to follow the law every single day of his life. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Gachagua is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, not the Deputy President of Mount Kenya, Mr. Speaker. He is the Deputy President of Kenya Kwanza, not Mlima Kwanza, Mr. Speaker. It has to be said today that if we are to build together, if we are to run a country that has shared values, shared principles, and shared prosperity, Mr. Speaker, all of us must believe that our leaders will live within the four corners of the law. Mr. Speaker, it is true, and it's been said by Kenyans, that we are all tribal. Of course, we all come from tribes. We also have our own tribal sentiments, Mr. Speaker. We all have our feelings about what should happen to our tribe, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's even been said that Kufa Dereva, Kufa Makanga. It's also been said that all of us sitting here today have some tribal things in our closet, Mr. Speaker. That is true. But, Mr. Speaker, and you are a seasoned lawyer, when you go to court and you are charged, and the others you are charged are not in court, they say Rigathi, Gachagua, and others not in court. The case here today is that of Rigathi, not others not here today. The case we're dealing with today is the case of Makanga, not driver, not passengers. So, Mr. Speaker, we have to deal with a person who believes that his job is to represent Mount Kenya. Mr. Speaker, on this side sits members of parliament elected by Mount Kenya people. On this side sits members of parliament from Nyeri, from Kirinyaga, from Muranga, from everywhere. Those counties also have governors. Nobody appointed Rigathi to be the benefactor. No one appointed Rigathi to be the custodian of Mount Kenya. No one. Because our constitution provides for leaders from that place to represent them. Mr. Speaker, by his actions that are against Article 10 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, Rigathi has alienated Mount Kenya from the rest of the country. He is fought so hard to be the Mount Kenya kingpin, Mr. Speaker, and I believe that this House must impeach him so that he can go and be the kingpin of Mount Kenya, not the deputy president of this country. That's what we need to do this afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I heard him mention the name of our PCS, the name of the Ford Kenya leader. Mr. Speaker, coalition agreements are done.
Give him 1 minute.
Coalition agreements are done between parties and among parties, Mr. Speaker. And if, for example, MDG where Iran has shares in the government, the shares are for the whole country, not for a tribe, not for an individual, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today, I must say that we will impeach him. But all of us here today must also soul search that as we impeach Gachagua, have you lived a better life yourself as a Kenyan? Have you lived a better life as a leader? What have you done in your closet that reflects what Gachagua has done? will impeach him, but he must also change our ways as a country, from the president down to all of us who lead in this country, Speaker. I support and believe that he must be impeached.
Commissioner Patrick Makau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, allow me to give thumbs up for one Honorable Ecomas Mwengi Mutuse Massive. Mr. Speaker, I give him thumbs up for executing this motion and showing Kenyans that leadership is not about where you come from, who you are, but how you perform your duties. Mr. Speaker, this morning, I've heard many speakers talk to this motion. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the speakers who have said that yesterday and the week before, Mr. Speaker, I've been watching the Deputy President of this country doing rallies in town, going to churches, and Mr. Speaker, what we saw on Sunday was different from what we saw yesterday. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I want to advise us, even as politicians, sometimes we should listen to our advisors, and we listen to the right advisors. Mr. Speaker, if I were to advise the Deputy President, yesterday's interview was his undoing, and he proved to Kenya that yes, all these accusations that are being leveled to him are really true. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm to this House, one, despite Article 10, the Deputy President, who is supposed to hold the values of this nation, by uniting Kenyans, by fighting against corruption, by fighting against tribalism, he is the one who has championed tribalism through and through. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, as a member of Parliament Mavoko, I have spoken the word Kenya many times, more than the Deputy President of this country. All what I've been hearing is Mulima.